Like I said earlier, do not fear the change to Social Security. A lack of change would be a bad thing for everybody on Social Security, as in a major cut to our benefit. So we want change. What's that change going to look like? We don't know, but let me talk through at least 5 or 6 that have a very high likelihood of actually passing and reforming Social Security. Okay, number 1, and by the way, as you can see here in this article, there's a variety of different outlooks, as in progressive outlooks, conservative outlooks, centrist outlooks, and just all these different ideas that are out there, many of which have been proposed multiple different times. Okay, first one being an increase to the maximum taxable earnings cap. Now, this is the threshold that changes every single year, but basically what this is, it's a line in the sand, and it basically says every dollar up to the cap will be taxed by Social Security payroll taxes at a rate of 12.4%. Any money earned above that threshold is no longer subject to the Social Security payroll tax. Right now in 2026, it's $184,500. Okay, so all income up to $184,500 of income is taxable by the Social Security payroll tax, again, at a rate of 12.4%. Well, progressives want to raise that up, or maybe even completely scrap the cap, as they like to call it. They like to walk around and say, scrap the cap. Well, that's one of the things that they like to say, okay? So they want to remove that cap to implement a higher tax, or more tax, I should say, on higher income people, or raise that up significantly up to maybe $250,000 or even $400,000, and continue to increase that each and every year, again, collecting more money from higher income people. That's number 1. Number 2 would also be raising the percentage in which is taxable into Social Security. In other words, like I just said, there's the 12.4% collective payroll tax that's paid into Social Security. They want to raise that up to about 15.5%. They want to raise it by about 3%. Okay, so of that 12.4% that is currently in place, 6.2% is paid by the employee, 6.2% is paid by the employer, a total of 12.4% right now. They want to bring that up to about 15.5%, which would be about 7.5% for the employee, 7.5% for the employer, roughly, give or take a little bit, maybe a little more than that. And again, that'd bring in a whole lot more money into Social Security, billions and billions and billions of dollars more. Would that fix the issue? Well, maybe. It would certainly help, but is it totally going to fix it? I'm not really sure. They'd have to, there's a lot of factors that go into that to actually determine that, okay? Those are the first 2. Now, number 3 would be raising the full retirement age. Now, we've heard this one many times over the years. Right now, the the full retirement age is 67 for anybody born in 1960 or after. Well, they want to raise it to maybe 69 or possibly even 70. So what that would do is slowly increase the full retirement age for anybody born after 1960 from 67, and they would slowly increase it just like they did from those people born in 1954 to 1960. They slowly raised it by 2 months for every year born after. So for example, somebody born in 1961 would likely have a full retirement age of 67 and 2 months. Somebody born in 1962 would likely have a full retirement age of 67 and 4 months, and on and on and on, all the way up to either 69 or 70 as a full retirement age, okay? So that is another one. I think that's going to have, honestly, a pretty high likelihood of passing as well. All right, anyway, that is number, I don't know, was I on 3 or number 4? Either way, doesn't really matter. I'll keep going. I last count at number 3. All right, anyway, I'll keep going. There's plenty more here. Okay, another one, and I kind of like this plan. I'm just being fair with you. I kind of like this one, which is creating a sovereign wealth fund. Now, let me explain this really quickly because this is kind of confusing. But basically, taking $1.5 trillion, no, not taking $1.5 trillion from Social Security, but literally just going to the Federal Reserve saying, hey, yo, Fed, print us up $1.5 trillion. They say, boom, wham, bam, here you go, thank you very much. And they literally just change a few digits on a computer, and they just have printed $1.5 trillion just out of thin air, wham. Just like that. How cool would that be, right? I wish I had one of these magic computers that would just print money. I mean, I don't know where I would stop. I would just keep going every day. I'd just be like, let's print another trillion today. Why not? It'd be super fun, right? And just blow it on all kinds of random stuff. I mean, that'd be so cool. but also it'd probably be kind of boring after a few days because it'd be like, I can buy anything, right? I don't know. But anyway, creating this fund, what they want to do is they want to set aside $1.5 trillion, $1.5 trillion. And here's what they want to do. They want to properly invest this money into, I'm going to say it, the stock market. Yeah, exactly. And again, no, they're not taking money from Social Security, but rather a freshly printed $1.5 trillion invested into the stock market and let it grow. Yes, let it grow. And then what they would do is have a proper return on the money invested for Social Security, which they would be able to use to pay out to beneficiaries. That money will grow with the economy and the markets going up and possibly even paying dividends. And then ultimately that money would be used to pay to the beneficiaries. I like that. Why do I like that? Because the plan that they currently have in place right now, I'm going to be fair and I'm going to say it, which is it's pathetic. The reason I say that is this. The way that Social Security is set up is very, very safe. The money must be invested into basically government bonds, into treasuries, okay? It's very safe. When you get very safe investments, what happens is it pays a pathetic interest rate. The Social Security Administration is bringing in about a 2.4% rate of return on the $2.5 trillion sitting in the trust fund. That's really bad. I'm just going to say that much. That's really bad. You can go out to any Joe Blow bank on any street corner and you can get a savings account that's going to pay you like 3.5. You could maybe even find a CD that's paying you 4.5, 5%. So literally you can go out to any no-name hole-in-the-wall bank in your local area and probably get upwards of 4.5 to 5% on a simple savings account or a CD. And meanwhile, you've got Social Security sitting over there with 2.7 trillion dollars getting 2.25% or 2.5 or 2.4% interest on that money. They're losing money to inflation every single year because that's how they have the money invested. So anyway, I like that one if they properly invested the money and if they would have done it a while ago. And again, even if they started now, it wouldn't be too late. If they properly invested the money and got a 6 or 7 or 8 or 10% return on that, they would be printing hundreds of billions of dollars a year. It would be nuts. They would be totally fine if they just invested the money properly. There'd be end of discussion. That's it. Done. Solution found.